Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the New Artist Spotlight podcast. This is our first show as a new co-hosting team. I'm Wilko Wilkes. Thank you for joining us for another episode as we interview some of the best artists from around the globe.
And I'm Origin Cross. Excited to be the new host for the show. Excited for all the places we can take it. And let's do it. Let's get into it.
Let's do it, mate. Great to be back. The new team. The whole of New Artist Spotlight community are also part of this podcast. It's not just us. We love to hear from you, and we look forward to meeting more of you in the coming months and years as we meet some great people, hear some cool stories, and sort of see what makes them tick. Any questions or comments that you've got on the podcast, please feel free to get in touch. You can DM me or email me on wilkowilkes@gmail.com. But as always, remember to check out newartistspotlight.org, where we've got loads of music, we've got news, we've got cool playlists, we've got reviews, Connolly's Corner, we've got all sorts on there, loads of great content.
And today, our guest is a man who's been here before, so we know we're going to have a great show. Today, this man is so charismatic and so impactful and influential in his career space. For all of us independent artists that we had him here again, and we love to keep having him here again. If you'd like to go ahead and announce him.
Yeah, it is the founder of New Artist Spotlight, Mr. Ed Eagle. Welcome to the show.
I could not be happier to be the first guest on this new team. Most of the people out here are only seeing you guys for the first time, hadn't even considered you guys the team, but as you know, we've been talking about this for a while now, and I have seen great things for this team. And just this little bit of a chat we had pre-game, I guess you would call it, has just encouraged me even more so that this is going to be an awesome team. I'm so excited. I'm so glad that I had something to pitch, something to sell at the exact same time you guys were starting. So it works out very well. And thank you, Origin. That was too kind. We're all just working together. I think we're going to do great things, and we got some great news you heard today in the mod chat, some cool stuff that's happening with UK radio. And I'm really excited for where NAS is going, and I'm excited to talk about everything today with you guys. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Definitely.
Yes, mate, it's going places. So for anyone who doesn't know you, if they might have been living in a cave for this last couple of years, or do you want to just introduce a bit about yourself and give us a flavor about what you're like as a man and as an artist?
Well, it's hard to say what I'm like as a man. You have to ask other people who know me, I guess. But my name is Ed Eagle. As you said, I started the New Artist Spotlight last year. I won't get into the whole thing. You can watch some of the old or listen to some of the old podcasts. But basically, I've been, my best friend is a musician. He opened up for LL Cool J. He's opened up for major acts, Rage Against the Machine. And we've been best friends for 30 plus years. He's the godfather of my oldest daughter, best man at my wedding. And he has been on me forever to start putting out music. And I just finally had the opportunity right before COVID struck. I had a chance to do the team. I worked on the song called The Team. I was so irritated by what was going on in politics and the ridiculousness of a two-party system, 250 years after America was founded, and just there are no real options. It just, for whatever reason, it just hit me that there's no such thing as everyone plays on a team, but really all the options are the same. You don't really have a choice. So I was inspired to write that song. I happened to stumble into getting it produced for free by Sound on Sound, which is in London, I believe. And one of the guys there was doing a fix your master kind of contest. He heard the song because my buddy was on a PreSonus Studio One message board, and he's like, "Hey, this they have this guy who's a real producer. He's gonna do someone's song. He's gonna mix someone's song, master someone's song. Why don't you submit yours?" And I submitted a link to it from off of SoundCloud, I guess. And a lot of people on the group were like, "Yeah, it's a good one. You should do this one. You should do this one." And he picked it. And then I didn't hear from the dude for like 6 weeks because of COVID. And I actually was worried that he might have actually died because, I haven't talked to him. And just suddenly fell off the map. I'm like, and this is early in COVID, so no one knows what's going on. He literally someone could have just died and you would just talk to them. So he got back to me. He sent me the master. I haven't heard from him since. I even tried throwing some of his songs on NAS because his own songs have very few streams. I'm like, I'm going to help this guy out since he helped me out. put him on NAS. I still haven't heard from him. So thank you, JG Harding from Sound on Sound. If anyone gets this to him, you are the only reason that NAS exists. You mixed and mastered the team. And then after I felt I had it was a pretty good song, I thought, not to pat myself on the back too much, but I thought it was a decent enough song that it should get on some playlists. And I got a lot of snootiness. There's a lot of snootiness. Oh, this doesn't fit, or this isn't that way, or the vocals are too buried in the mix, or the vocals are too loud, the guitars are blah, blah, blah. And then you look into these people who are doing these judgments and they don't even make music themselves. And anyway, so I thought there must be a better way. At first, I thought there must be another thing like what I'm thinking of, where everyone works together and you promote each other's music and we all grow together. But I can't find anyone else like us. So I guess there's just there's a sense of community that we have in NAS that is hard to duplicate. And whatever the magic formula, we found it, and it just continues to grow. So that's basically my story as an artist. I'm a newbie, man. I'm new to this stuff. I'm always like, I just feel blessed to be surrounded by so many like great, legit musicians that I feel like I'm almost like an imposter. I'm just using my editorial or my leadership skills to get something out of this too. And you guys, I'm telling you, man, I feel like my music has grown leaps and bounds just by being around so many legit good art, like you two. Obviously, you two are good at what you do. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun. It's a ton of work. And it's almost become a second job. Plus, I have a wife and 3 little kids, like the son we were talking about. It's fine. Why you lose? Why I feel like I'm losing my mind. Got a wife, a boy, and 2 girls, 2 dogs, and a cat. That's actually real life. I wrote that. That's my family. So I'm busy, and I work for Major League Baseball, which is a major sports league in the United States. I used to be a reporter. I do a little bit of writing, but mostly editing now. So I'm busy.
I always say it seems like you've got like 50 hours in a day. I don't know how you do it.
I don't really slack too much. You caught me. I was actually I got to tell you guys, I've been late for work twice because of the hours here. I was late for this podcast, and I couldn't believe I was late. I'm just not a late person. So I'm pretty good at time management, and I don't slack. I was slacking. I was actually checking IG. I was trying to I try to like share messages for people. Like thanks to NAS, I've gotten to like 3,000-4,000 followers. So I like to share, with people, because we have a lot of new artists who don't have any followers. So I try to get their information out there. So I'll go through Instagram, and that's what I was doing. I got a message. Origin is like, you ready to be with this new team? Like, yeah, that's right. I'm ready. Of course. Like, thought you were trying to give me an answer or something meanwhile, you're like, you're late. So yeah, sorry. I was late.
I mean, it happens to the best of us, and we appreciate you actually being appreciative of our time.
Of course.
But like I said, no need to apologize to us. We've all done it to somebody at some point. So let's talk a little bit about NAS, and we feel like you've created something that is greater than the sum of its parts at this point. So if you want to touch on some of the things that NAS has to offer, and just the journey from NAS being this kind of little idea to this big community that it is now.
Yeah, it was literally just me and a couple of my buddies who had used to be in bands or were in bands. And actually, I'm old enough now. I just turned 50 a couple months ago, and my friends' kids are in bands now. So a couple of them were on the playlist. So the original playlist was like the team and a couple of my buddies' songs and a couple of their kids' songs. So that was what it was originally. And then I started going on Submit Hub, and I saw so many other people that were doing the same thing, follow for follow. So I just I saw you mentioned it last week on the show. Same thing that you and I did. I just reached out to you and I said, hey, after we did the follow for follow, like I'm going to throw you on my playlist. If you want to stick on it, just stream it and you're good to go. Stream it a couple of times a week. And that picked up really fast. And there were a lot of people really early on that are still around with NAS, like Saeed and Sovereign and Tanya and Maya and Fred. And like, they were like really, really early on. And they helped get it off the ground. Evan Thomas. So some of them have moved on, don't have as much time now. But I liked the reason they're still on the playlist is, even though you don't see them around as much, is we wouldn't be here without them. And I'm extremely behind loyalty. Like, I think loyalty means a lot. And so those people helped start it. So as far as I'm concerned, they'll always have a spot on NAS. I hope they come back, and I hope they can spend more time with us all the time. But I get how life gets in the way too. So as far as I'm concerned, like they're like NAS Hall of Famers. They're in. and they'll continue to be part of our team. But yeah, we picked up rather quickly. We started, as you remember, we started on IG. We just did chats. But I think it was Sovereign had the idea, hey, let's take this to Discord. We can really grow it. And I was like, man, I don't know. That seems like a lot of extra work. All these people are going to want to, they might be apprehensive about switching, but we did. And that was Sovereign, great idea. So you're talking about the sum of the parts, the synergistic approach, how, we're greater than the sum of our parts. That's it. We take ideas from different sources, and Sovereign's was one. And we just, in my mind, I always wanted it to be not just a stream team, because there's a million stream teams out there, right? Like, and we've all been on them. And I remember one of the guys who runs a big stream team was saying to me, hey man, you're going to burn out. He's like, do you want to be a curator or do you want to be an artist? And I thought, why can't we be both? Looks like there's a void out there. I happen to be at an age where I have enough experience. I used to be a professor in leadership development, so I have some experience with leadership. I ran a $1 million budget at my university when I was 19. I didn't have 2 nickels to rub in my pocket when I was running this $1 million budget. So that's kind of been my thing. Is for whatever reason I've kind of fallen into the leadership thing, and I wanted to use it to help other artists who want to help themselves. That's always been a big thing of mine. As I know I've mentioned on many other interviews, I grew up in a place that's now, I think, like 7th. It was on the Today Show a couple months ago. It was like the 7th most violent city in the United States. And I was one of the poorest kids in my town. Like, so anytime I have a chance to help someone like me, without having them pay any money, that's why NAS has always been free. I want to make sure people have a chance without having to pay money, because people who have money, they'll figure out a way to do it. Like, I look at my own kids. They have a lot of, and this, I want to give them, as a parent, I want to give them as many opportunities as possible. But I also am very aware that there are kids out there who don't have the opportunities that my kids have. And there are a lot of artists out there that, we're all broke artists. Pretty much everyone's a broke artist, right? And I want to make sure that I give them a spot where they can get a chance to build their brand or whatever as well, as long as they're willing to do the hard work. I'm always about, coming from steelworker parents, I'm always about, pulling yourself up. I understand the things that are pushing you down, but you gotta, it's gonna be on you. We can all make excuses of why we couldn't make it in this world. But if someone's offered us a hand and said, hey, I'm gonna help you, but you just gotta help yourself too, that's my kind of people, man. That's the kind of people who help me get to where I am. And I wanted to be that kind of person too.
That's cool, man. And I think it comes across in New Artist Spotlight and everything you do. And I think I liked what you're saying about how, it is like family. It isn't just a stream team. And I think that you're just the perfect guy to have as the leader, because that comes across. That's what I thought when I first came in, and people were like messaging me, like Elion Melody and Charles Connolly and people like that were kind of, and yourself, just made me feel really welcome. And it's like, I felt like I got to know those artists really quickly. And now there's people like yourself who are ingrained in my head. I've got your music. Sometimes my wife even gets your tunes stuck in her head.
Thank you.
Caught her like walking around the house singing an Ed Eagle tune. I'm like, what's going on here? But no, it's great. I think that it comes from the top, but it also takes everybody as well in the community. And we are just one big happy family, and we look out for each other.
Well, we do get a few people that are leeches, but we have a way of kind of getting those out of there.
They get weeded out. Yeah.
Yeah. That's another good thing though. Like the leeches, they don't stick around. We kind of keep finding new ways to figure out who they are and just getting them out of the community, so that it's actually a community and not just something that people can use to benefit themselves.
And that's by design, man. As much as I love trying to help people who want to help themselves, I can't stand leeches, man. I can't stand it. I cannot stand people who don't want to help drive the car. They just want to be passengers. And, that's why there aren't more NASs, I think, because there aren't, I'll give you an example. We get probably, I'll give you an interest into how NAS works. So I get sent songs like everyone else does, right? By like daily playlists and submit like different submission places. And some pay and some are free. So the ones that pay, they get a week on on our list. I'll review their song. They're paying to get the song reviewed. If I like it, I'll put them on. And I normally do, because it's not their fault they paid. They paid not knowing any better than having to pay to get on, right? Like, I don't feel like I'm holding it against them. And the money they pay me for the reviews, I actually put that back into NAS so that we can pay for things like our Apple subscription, title subscription, to pay for our web page, that kind of stuff. Since we're free, we don't have any money. And one thing my wife had said from the beginning, she's like, it's cool. I appreciate your passion is helping people, especially, people who grow up like you. You want to, that's your thing. And I've been missing that a lot since my old job was a college administrator and a professor, and I was able to help. I was, believe it or not, I was the advisor to the Black student unit in my last university, because I'm just cool with everybody. And they happened to be the people who grew up most like me at the school in the middle of Iowa. It was the kids from St. Louis were the only ones who really kind of had the similar kind of background as me. So I ended up being the advisor there, and that's always been my thing, to help people. And I've been missing that, like working in Major League Baseball. You're not dealing with people, or, some of the players are from disadvantaged backgrounds, but essentially they're mostly millionaires, right? So I've been missing that. I've been missing that a lot. And she said, I understand why you want to do this. I understand it's your passion, and you feel like you've been missing this since you joined baseball, but you can't be spending the family's money to make this go. This isn't going to be a charity case. So I had to think of, how am I going to make money to make this work? So that's why I do the reviews every day. I do reviews. And if they give us, it's like $3 for this song or $5 for this song, whatever it is. So that's probably about 10% of the songs we get. And then we get daily playlists, which is, I probably get 100 of those a day. And that's the hidden thing that no one sees, that I go through these. And to the point where I almost only accept people who have less than a couple hundred streamers, or a couple hundred followers, or a couple hundred monthly followers and listeners and that kind of stuff. I try to keep it on the people who are just starting out, because I feel like they're the ones who are gonna grow with us. We used to just accept everybody who was on there, but I don't think I need to bring in someone with 20,000 monthly listeners. Then I don't think they're gonna benefit from NAS. So every day I go through those, and I try to pick the ones I think who are gonna help NAS and will be most helped out by NAS. So that's where I don't even know how I got on this line of questioning, but yeah, that's kind of how it works. And we also have Motion Sickness, who does amazing recruitment through Facebook pages. So I'm not even sure how everyone got recruited to NAS anymore, but that's how we do it. So just to funnel through all those hundreds of people every week to get, one Origin and one Wilko. If I can get one Origin or one Wilko a week, we're good, man. We're good. If we can, because every day we add another one, or every week we add another pillar to this community. You know what I'm saying? And that's how we're growing, and that's how we're making the kind of impact we are. So it just used to be a small handful. That's why I'll never forget Evan and Saeed and Tanya. And you know what I mean? Like they were their original pillars, and we just keep building from that. So there's always, like you said, going to be leeches. There's always going to be people who are here for a week or two and go, but we just keep getting more and more pillars, and we get a stronger foundation all the time. And that's the kind of stuff that really excites me. Do I wish, if we had 100% buy-in from everybody every week, we would be ridiculous. Our influence, we would be on the radio. I think all of us would be on Spotify by now, Spotify curated lists and the radio by now, because we have a lot more pull than people think. But, we only have so many pillars. We're working on them. This show is going to help us bring in more pillars.
Yeah, we'll get there. And yeah, I listened to this show a long time before I hosted it, and I always liked listening to it in the car, just learning off other artists. And that's one thing I love about it. And if I ever am stuck with anything, I can message people. So we will talk later about your new track and stuff like that. Just to finish off on the NAS stuff, do you have any one standout memory or particular story that springs to mind, or something that you're proud of more than anything else about the whole thing?
Yeah, it's funny. I was actually saying today in our mod chat, almost every single time when I'm kind of feeling down on it, I'm like, man, people aren't buying in. Like, why am I wasting my time doing this? Why am I wasting my time whenever most people they don't care? Like, I get that feeling. I think everyone does. I just get mentally tired. I get, because like you said, it's a lot of time, man. And I got a full-time job, and I got a family, and I'm, and I have fun. I make sure I'm not like an absent dad. Like my kids and we have fun. Like I'm the kind of dad. It's like, I'm the big dude that goes out and have fun. I'm loud. Like they can't wait to get me up at the cottage. I'm the one that like make sure we have fun around throwing the baseball around and like in the pool, throwing the kids around in the pool and that kind of stuff. Like, so I got to be there. So it's a lot of mental effort too, right? So every once in a while, I'm like, man, why am I doing this? Like, and I think you can even sense it from the mod chat. Sometimes I'll just get irritated, like, F it, but something will happen, And a couple months ago, it was Nazapalooza. Plummy sent me the video for Nazapalooza. I was like, man, this is great. And some of the, what people were saying, it touched me. It touched me to hear like, a few of the artists were saying how much, it helped them during COVID and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, that's why I do it. Like my wife watched that with me and watched Nazapalooza with me. And she's far from a super fan. She's my heart skirt. I love her. She's awesome. But she's also, she owns a dance studio and she is a perfectionist. And if I'm out of key or I'm anything, like, nope, wrong, you missed that, you're off beat, but especially timing. If my timing's not spot on, nope, you're off, So, and I could even sense from her, she's like, I get it. I totally see now. It's not just you. You're like, there's someone from South Africa saying what an impact it was. And there's someone else from Egypt, or, you know what I mean? Like, okay, you've been trying to say it, but when you see faces and you hear the voices and you see where they're from and like, no, this is making an impact, get you back. Your tank gets empty. My tank was so close to empty right then. And boom, it's right back up. And then lately I'm tired again. I'm doing all this stuff. Another thing that, I get sometimes irritated or discouraged or whatever, because I have a hard time working on my own music because I'm always doing other stuff and trying to catch up. It's hard to work on music. That's what I've actually been doing yesterday. My family was out of town. They went on vacation a couple of days ahead of me because I have to work a couple of days. And all I did yesterday was work on music. I'm like, here, I have a chance. I have like 6 hours to work on music. So that was cool. So that's my next track. I've actually finally got a head start on that. And so, that starts to get you down a little bit like, why am I doing stuff for other people? Why I need to focus on myself. But I do feel like when you focus on other people, you are focusing on yourself. Because I would not be anywhere near, like, I can't even begin to tell you how much I've benefited from NAS. You know what I mean? I'm not making any money. I'm giving a ton of time, but I'm not here for money. You know what I mean? I'm here. Here's how I would say, Wilko. Here's the best way I would say this. And I used to say this when we first started. And I think this is one of the coolest things about NAS is, whatever your real name. I actually go by my actual real name. And some people actually didn't know this is my real name. My real name is actually Ed Eagle. So, other people know me as Ed Eagle, the baseball writer or the baseball whatever, the guy who works for baseball or the dad or the neighbor or whatever. But in NAS, I'm the dude who wrote the team. I'm the singer and guitarist for the team, and you guys are the rappers, this is what you are. You're an artist to each other and we're artists. And it's kind of almost like a group. It builds off itself. You become what other people treat you as, when everyone talks to you as an artist and you talk about music all the time and you're not just trying to beg your cousin to listen to your song, but you're actually engaging with other people who are listening to your music. Like, hey man, my wife was just singing your song. I was like, that's awesome. I love hearing that kind of stuff. So I think that besides the camaraderie and stuff, we have legitimized each other as artists and we are becoming what we are treated as. So it's kind of a cool psychological experiment actually, but it's been a really cool process, I think.
This is all good information, I feel like. And like, yeah, we as artists, I kind of feel like go through the same thing where we feel like we're kind of spinning our wheels. We keep making music and without things like NAS, it's kind of like, okay, why am I doing this? Someone's paying attention. And having somebody actually sit there and actually listen to your music and actually have opinions about it and feedback, those things, like you say, legitimizes you as an artist and it makes you want to keep going. Like those things like refill your tank as an artist. So NAS obviously offers like a lot of great things outside of just streams or YouTube views. So let's take a break from NAS and talk about Ed Eagle. You said you had something to pitch. And so let's talk about that. You got a new single coming out and good to know that you're working on another new single for after that. This one's a cover song.
Yep.
And so it's kind of exciting. Definitely want to know what led you to pick this song. And you always make the things unique. So done a few. Tell us about it. What brought it to?
Yeah. It's actually kind of a cool story. A couple layers to this one too. So the reason I've been doing, I try to get a song now every 3 months. That's kind of my thing. And it's been hard to write. It's been since It's Fine. And that took me forever to put together. But Plush, I would just sing that around the house. And my wife, who's a huge critic, was like, man, you actually, that sounds like you. Like that actually, you kind of sound as good as him on that song. You should do that one. So I was like, yeah, I should do that one. My buddy, one of my good friends here plays guitar, and I've been trying to pull him along. His brother's in a band actually, and I've been trying to pull my buddy Rich, who's played guitar in a couple songs with me, and he learned it, and we picked it up and played it. And Charles Conley did a ridiculously amazing job on the production of that thing and Superstition. So what I'm trying to do now is like an original cover is what I'm trying to do. So my next one will be an original that I'm working on. So I needed another cover after Plush. And we've been in lockdown here forever. But I was, my wife and I were invited by Rich and his wife. They were at another friend's house, like in our neighborhood, but down the street, like the other side of the neighborhood. And I'm not sure if you guys have kids, but when you take your kids to school and you see the parents for the other kids all the time, every day. So you might not know them, but you see their faces all the time. So it was me and my wife and my buddy Rich and his wife and about 20 other people I didn't know. Basically, I knew them to say hi, okay? But they had a guitar out, and we were talking about baseball and that kind of stuff. They're baseball fans, so that was an easy. I don't have a hard time breaking the ice, as you might imagine. So I was, shooting the shit with these guys, and they had guitars, and I'm like, yeah, I like to play. Then I sat down, and I started just picking the riff to Stevie. I just love that, so funky. There's little interesting timings in that song that I just love. It was actually that song, the history of that song. Stevie Wonder wrote that song for Jeff Beck, the famous guitarist, the British guitarist. And but Stevie loved it so much that he said, I gotta keep this for myself. So he actually did it himself. And Stevie Wonder plays the drums in that song, by the way, too. Stevie Wonder plays the drums. Superstition. I've seen it. It's amazing to watch him play drums blind. It's ridiculous. So Stevie Wonder he's up there. He's in my top 5 legends with the Beatles and Radiohead and Metallica. I have a pretty diverse influences, and I try to recognize all of them in my covers. But Stevie was just one. I didn't know if I could do it, man. I love him so much. I didn't want to disrespect his work. So I hadn't even considered doing one of his songs. But I was at this party and sitting in the garage, and I started picking it, and I started singing "Very Superstitious," and people were, I got that look. You got a little bit of flavor, and people were like, "Oh, what's going on?" And then I could see they're like, "Damn, this all right." And just the reaction, that gave me a little goosebumps right now. Just the reaction of the 20 people in that room while I was singing it, and I was like, all right, we got something here. So I went home and I started recording it, and I did it. I know it's a little different. It's a little Ed Eagle eyes rather than straight Stevie version, but I just knew, man. I just knew whatever the reaction of the people watching me were like, okay, this is a song I'm gonna have to do. So I just try to make it my own. Originally, it was just all me on guitar. The drums are me just hitting the back of the guitar. And the bass is just me playing it and dropping it down an octave. The guitar is just me all playing the acoustic guitar. But then Charles, so I'm actually doing this. It wasn't originally a collaboration, but I sent it to Charles to mix and master, and he threw in that little the keyboard part. It's really funky. I'm not sure if you guys have heard the whole track yet. And I'm like, man, and he did such a great job mixing. I actually gave him feature credit on it because I felt like it added so much to the song. And even though I had only intended it to just be just me playing one acoustic, that was kind of like the little spiel I was going for there, is like one acoustic getting all the instruments off of it. But it added so much to the song. I was like, man, whatever. Let's make the song as good as we can. I don't care about this one guitar thing anymore. So I hope that answered your question. I feel like I talked for a long time. And I also see that our remaining time is running down. So I started to feel like talking a little bit faster too.
No, we've still got plenty of time though. But obviously we'll have to extend this because there's so much to talk about. But yeah, I when I heard your, first of all, when I heard that you were doing Superstition by Stevie Wonder, I was like, no, this isn't going to work. This guy is taking too much on. Like,
I don't blame you.
Stevie Wonder is the Don. You know, he's so good. He's got such a good voice. It's a big song to pick a cover of. It's a big vocal range. I mean, sometimes I've done covers myself, and I just do it. I pick songs that I think are not maybe quite as good as I would like them, and then try and enhance them. But there's no way that you're going to enhance Stevie Wonder. But you do manage it, and the same with your version of Dock at the Bay by Otis Redding. You put your own spin on it, and the same with the Stone Temple Pilots. I didn't actually know that song, but I went back the other day and listened to the Stone Temple Pilots version of it, and I was like, no, I prefer Ed Eagle's version.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, that's on my running playlist now, so it comes in when I love it. This is a song called Plush. Is that your daughter on that?
That is actually Rich's daughter. So
right, okay.
His daughter and my daughter are like best friends. And if I'm not sure if you guys remember the Christmas song we did, my daughter's actually sang in the chorus of the Christmas song. And we would listen to, funny enough, we would listen to the podcast on the way to dance class. My wife owns a dance studio. All the girls dance, including my daughter and her friends. And they would listen to the podcast. Like they knew Plummy, they knew Maya, they knew Fred, because Fred would talk. Fred sounds like he's what's Narnia. Fred sounds like he's from Narnia. So they would talk about that. But anyway, so we were listening to, and they would always chirp me too. So Plummy would always chirp me, and they would laugh, something about, I'm bald or whatever. And so they got to listening to it, and then they decided they wanted to be part of it. So I asked my daughters if they wanted to sing on the Christmas song, and they're like, yeah, we'll do it. So this girl who did the beginning of Plush, she had to listen on the car all the time during Christmas. Her best friend, and my other daughter singing on this song, and she's like, I want to sing on a song too. And then I thought, I found the perfect. That's why it's Rich. It's Addison and Rich Mora. It's Rich's daughter.
Yeah, I'm starting to get that as well. One of my mates' sons, Max, the other day asked if he could be in one of my videos, and I was like, yeah, you can. Just give me a few months. Yeah.
Isn't that cool, man? That's part of that's part of us being treated as musicians and not just, Mr. Eagle come up the street, Yeah,
it's cool.
So you were saying how good Superstition came out.
Yeah, it did. It came out. Yeah, it did. It really did. It's amazing. Yeah.
If I can cut in for like 1 second.
Yeah.
When I first saw the announcement, like I'm doing Superstition, I'm thinking the same thing that Wilko's thinking. I'm like, no, he's not. And I don't know, like the same day, like this post comes up and it's like talking about how like some people's art you just leave alone. And so at that moment, I'm like, okay, is this a sign that this is not gonna work? Or I'm like, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna leave it alone. And then when the song comes out well, I'm like, okay, that just random coincidence that just happened to happen. But you're taking a bit aback. You're taken a bit aback by it when you first hear Ed Eagle's doing Superstition by Stevie Wonder. And like the song starts playing in your head and you're like, does he have the range? But you pull it off, and that is a testament to probably even just partly New Artist Spotlight, where it gives you the confidence to kind of say, hey, I can actually approach something like this and actually have it taken seriously.
That's 1,000% true. It was 1,000% true. I wouldn't have even had the nerve to play that song in front of those people. It just came out of my head. I don't even know. I don't practice that. I just love the funkiness. Like that. That riff is it's much less easy than it sounds. It's easy. You can do it easy. You can. Oh, really? Because it sounds easy to me. And I was actually trying to show some people to play, because I really suck at singing and playing it. I need to work at that. I can't sing and play guitar at the same time, especially something like that. So I've had to show other people. I'm like, here's how you do it. And I'm realizing, there's like a little bit there's a little hitch in there. Like I don't know how to explain it. It's not just a straightforward. It's like I can't even vocalize what I'm trying to say. But when you can feel it, it's a little, it's not just, the notes are like, and the horn part, the way your fingers rub down the fretboard even feels cool. It's just, I don't know. It's like taking horns and putting it into guitar and that kind of stuff. That's what I was kind of going for. But talking about process before, I sat here right in this seat and did the whole thing. And I sent it to Charles. I'm like, hey, what do you think, man? He's like, wow, like, where did that come from? Like, okay, I wasn't expecting. And then I did the, you hear it no one else is here. I guess it's going to be the world premiere of this song. This is going to come out Thursday, so they're going to premiere it later. The third verse, I kind of dig deep into it, so I think that surprises people. They're not expecting to hear me singing like that, so it's fun. I like to surprise people, and like you said, Origin, no possible way I'd have ever even considered. Like, Stevie to me is like way up here. Sorry for the mic hit. Stevie's way up there. Stevie would never hit that. He's blind and he wouldn't have hit that. He wouldn't know that. He has the sense not to do that. So the musical sense. And it was 100% because of you guys. Like, you guys gave me that. And I actually feel better that you were concerned that I couldn't pull it off. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. But you didn't say, hey man, I don't know. That's awesome that no one said that, because that's Superstition is no joke.
Yeah, and that's pretty awesome. So if you would do us the honor of giving this song a proper introduction, I think we should check it out now.
Yeah, this is Superstition by maybe the greatest musical genius of all time. I'm humbly doing my little interpretation, and I pray that he would actually hear it someday and he likes it, because I don't know, having kids and being married are some of the most amazing things that ever happened in my life. But if Stevie Wonder heard my song and he didn't hate it, my version of his song, I would be like, yes. If anyone out there knows Stevie, please, 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 please get this song to him. So that was a long way of saying this is Ed Eagle with Superstition.
that you don't understand, then you suffer. A superstition in the way.
Amazing. Just when you said that, you started that sentence, you said, this is Superstition by possibly the greatest musical genius of all time. And I thought you were like going to go Ed Eagle. I was like, wow, listen, man, this is a big introduction. Like,
you're right. I was like, what the hell was I thinking even trying it? I don't know. It just came across. So
mad.
If I would have thought about it, I never would have done it. You're right. I wouldn't have. It just came out. I'm like, wow, people like this. And there are enough people where I live who might not even know it's Stevie Wonder. That's the crazy thing. They might not even know that it's a cover. That's the thing that drives me nuts. They're like, oh, that's a cool song, man. I'm like, that's Stevie Wonder. You know that, right? That's like, or at least Stevie Ray Vaughan. Do you know the Stevie Ray Vaughan version? I'm like, those are two, another legend. One of my all-time favorites, Stevie Ray Vaughan too.
Mate, I love your choice of bands as well. Metallica, I love Metallica. Beatles, love the Beatles. Radiohead, I've been listening to them a lot recently. I think we've got.
I forgot Ice Cube. Ice Cube's definitely in my top 10.
Yeah,
I saw him back in '92 on the Lollapalooza tour. I was like, seriously, it was all metalheads. It was Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Ministry, and Ice Cube. And there might have been like 10 of us up there singing along with him. It was off the Death Certificate, which is my absolute favorite rap album of all time. So I knew every lyric, everyone that I could say. There are a lot of swear words in that one. But I was one of the few people up there like bobbing and singing it because I actually knew all the words. Man, I loved. You talk about social commentary, and I love social comment. And that Ice Cube Death Certificate is the life side, the death side. I mean, that is, again, goosebumps just thinking about that album, the impact that album had on me in 1991. That was 30 freaking years ago, and that came out. And listen to it today, and it's still amazing, and it still hits hard. Sorry, I went off.
No, that's okay, mate.
No,
It was me who went off on the tangent. Yeah, so we'll start again as if we're gonna go back in. So, yeah, amazing track. That absolutely love it. Amazing. I'm sure everyone.
Sorry, we just got done talking about. I just gave an impassioned plea of why a Death Certificate by Ice Cube. I saw Ice Cube live in 1991 or 92 for Lollapalooza, and not many people there were familiar with him. And it's my favorite rap album of all time. So I was singing along with like the whole thing, and it was just life altering. Even though he was there with like Pearl Jam and Soundgarden and Chili Peppers, like I loved watching Ice Cube. I got the chance to see Ice Cube live performing on the tour for my favorite rap album of all time. So, and we came off of that and like, oh yeah, good job. So that's why there was that silence. We were all I just went off on this little side thing, and we came back and like, wait, we're not even talking about Superstition anymore. It's like, let's Ice Cube now. But you're talking about influences, right? And you might not think that you listen to The Team or It's Fine. You might not think that Ice Cube is one of my favorite artists of all time. And
well, with The Team, why not?
Yeah, man, you're right. See, thank you. You're seeing beyond genre. Thank you.
Yeah.
To me, it's not about genre. It's about message, man. That's why I like all different genres, Do you know that Otis Redding died? You mentioned Dock of the Bay. You know Otis Redding died before that song came out?
No.
He never even got to know it was a hit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. No, I didn't know that.
No, it's random, but
yeah, no, it's good knowledge though. That's and I agree with you on genre as well, because like a lot of people ask me about hip hop and rap and like underground rap and stuff, and to be honest, I don't know loads about it because it's not. I don't really listen to rap or hip hop as much as I listen to like indie or rock or new metal or metal or. Well, I listen to all sorts, to be honest, but people talk to me as if I'm a rap expert, and
right,
really, I'm just doing my own thing. You know what I mean? And I'm sure you're definitely not putting yourself in a box with your stuff as well. So, I mean, you've knocked it out quite quickly. Did you find it challenging, or was it quite easy for you to do because you're a bit of a magician? If I wanted to sit down and do a cover of Superstition with just a guitar, like you said, I just wouldn't know where to start. I wouldn't have a clue. Like you're quite a multi-instrumentalist.
The riff. It was the riff. The riff is just so funky. I love funk. I never get to listen to it because it's my wife loved music. She doesn't like funk. I'm like, come on. Like, so I don't get to hear it. So I got to make it. So I guess is what the way it was. So it was my excuse to play funk and listen to funk. And my best friend's band was really funky too. So I just kind of, that riff was to me, and that was it. And then I was like, okay, how do I make the horns sound not terrible with guitar? So that was the next thing. And that took layering or like harmonizing with myself kind of for the vocals there. So that was the thing. And then of course, man, his range too, I kind of have a lot lower voice than Stevie's. So that's why I was like, very superstitious. Like I had to like push, to get that out. I can't just sing it like he does straight through and I have zero experience or training as a singer. So I'm pulling this all out of my arse. So I don't know. I just to try to keep trying until I get better. It worked. And Charles is amazing. So Charles makes me sound better than I am all the time. So he's awesome. If you're out there in NAS and you're looking for someone to mix and master your songs, Charles Connolly. Like, I love everyone else on there. I'm not trying to discriminate against anyone else on our mix page, but I would give Charles a call if I were you.
Okay. No, there's definitely a thing with when you find that engineer that works with you. It's like it takes your sound to a whole new level, and it takes the confidence just recording the song to a whole new level because it's going to sound good because you have the tools now. And that's one thing that's great about NAS introducing the mix and master page. Being able to have that resource because a lot of us, take the time and sit in our dungeons and our home studios and sit there and try to do the best we can, and we just never will have the sound that someone who just has that skill set will have. So that's just another great thing about NAS, and just another tidbit of the psyche of an artist. Because once it's going to sound good, you put so much more effort and so much more feeling behind it because you can see it You know?
That's a really great point. I hadn't even considered. It's like you have a safety net that, you know, I can take these chances because, you know, if I really have a bad note, I know Charles isn't going to let me, that it's not going to be out there, right?
So we've seen a preview of the video. Can you tell us a little bit about that and who made it and how it came to be?
So I have to say, as excited as I was to pay tribute to Stevie Wonder, when I saw what this video looked like, I haven't seen it either. All I've seen so far is the preview. I've seen exactly what you've seen so far. There's a little sneak peek. So you guys know Jimmy from Wretched Pinhead Puppets. He's one of the mods on our NES, and he also does like the top 20, the countdown thing every week that has the really cool the ad that we do. That dude is off the charts, man. Like the stuff that he's thrown in there, all the little tidbits, like the Moosehead can from Canada. I actually drink Moosehead beer, which is kind of funny. And there's a Pittsburgh Steelers football card on the table there. He's gonna get my fraternity logo in there somewhere, he said. So little in my university thing. He's gonna get like little things in there. But to the bigger point for me on Superstition, because you guys know, and man, you nailed this. I hadn't even thought about it this way with not looking past genres, because I wondered to myself, like, why do I pick the songs that I pick? And it's not genre. Like, I don't really care as much about genre. I try to find things that either reach me or fit my voice or whatever. But in this case, you know, it's kind of like The Team, and it's fine. It's a social commentary with where we are right now. In the world, like the information that we get, like the information like that we hear, people are so stuck in the trenches on their team, but we don't really have all the information. Like, you know, you guys are younger than I am, but all my life we heard that UFOs, if you believe in UFOs, you were basically nuts, right? Like it was conspiracy theory stuff, whatever. Like 3 weeks ago, the Pentagon of the United States admitted UFOs are real, and no one even cares. Like there hasn't been any kind of like had you guys even heard? It's hardly even on the news. Like they admitted it was real. Like UFOs are real. There's actually things flying around in the air that we have no idea what they are. So, and that's real. And they basically admit, they have 100% admitted it. They've shown some videos and stuff. Okay, so that's one example. And then you have Fox News. For those of you outside of the United States, forever they've been saying vaccinations don't fall for it. It's the government plot, blah, 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 blah. And then Sean Hannity a couple of days ago apparently goes on and says, no, get vaccinated. So, you know, what do you believe? And that's why I took the whole, when you believe in things you don't understand, then you suffer, right? Because we're all like, there's so much information going on, kind of like we were talking about. It's fine. You know, our brains weren't built for all this yet, all this information we're getting. We've never had this in the history of humankind, this kind of sensory overload of information. And that's what we're getting hit with now. And I think a lot of anxiety and depression comes from that, because we just can't handle it all. And now we're getting different sides. Like, who do you trust? You know, if like the whole Wuhan virus thing, is it the Wuhan virus, whatever, is it from Wuhan, or is it not? And then if you think it is from the Wuhan clinic that happens to be right where it started, there happens to be a disease clinic right where it started. If you believe that, then are you a Trump person? Or I'm just so tired of it. You know what I'm like? You have to like try to pick sides. It's like mental gymnastics to pick sides, and just so believing in things that you don't understand, and you suffer. I feel like the whole world is suffering because we're not getting all the information. And a lot of time we're getting misinformation on purpose. And sometimes they sneak the big information. Oh yeah, the reason you hadn't heard about that UFO thing was because they announced it. They had until the end of the last month to announce it, and like by law, it was through an act of Congress. And they waited till 6 o'clock on a Friday, and that's what we call in the news business the news dump time, to announce all the findings. And they did it in this most subdued way possible at the end of a news cycle, when all the news people have already had their shows set up for the day. So that's this kind of shady shit that they do, and I don't know. That's where Superstition was to me. And I'm trying not to sound, you know, preachy and haughty and all that kind of stuff, but man, there's just so much going on. Sometimes it's hard to take it all in. I think that's a lot of the suffering we have in the world comes from, you know, they're just playing with us like puppets sometimes. You know, you got to do this. They pull you this way, pull you that way, pull you this, and in your mind's just trying to figure out which way to go. And
I wrote about that as well, and You Can't Stop Time. It is exhausting, this world now. Like, and your phone's pinging, and like sometimes I'll just take a couple of hours out and do something else, and then I come back and I've got like Facebook, WhatsApp, Discord, Instagram, emails, texts. I've got it's like it's tough to deal with, and like I say, there's so much information, and for people who are naturally curious as well, like I am, and I'm sure you are, and some other people, it's like you can end up going down rabbit holes, and but you're never going to able to get as much information as you want. There's so much out there. There's not enough time to process your own thoughts on everything. Yeah, it's like a bombardment in this modern age. I mean, I've gone off piece there now, but I love that you basically there. I like what you're saying about Superstition. Stevie Wonder wrote that a long time ago, and you're bringing it into the future now, and that probably comes across as why you've got your own spin on it, because you're thinking of it in your own way. You're thinking of it's the same lyrics, but it's a different message, and it's Ed Eagle's message this time. So what?
That's where the screaming comes from.
yeah, you need to get it out somehow. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So what's next for Ed Eagle? Have we got more more tracks in the future this year, or what?
You guys, I think it's gonna blow everyone's mind. I just finally started laying down the music for it. So I had been in kind of a slump, like with writing an original, just because I've been so busy with everything else. But you guys know JHM from NAS. He's actually my brother-in-law. I'm not sure if everyone knows that. He's I'm married to his sister, and there was a song that he wrote a long time ago, and I sang on it for him. And it's one of those songs that he never released it, and I would still catch myself singing it. Like we walk into the bathroom in the office, like during work, and I'm singing the song, the chorus from that song. I'm like, he really needs to release this song. Like this is an earworm, this song. So he came over, and I the way I do when I guess for other people, I'll just like sing it through 6 times, 6 different ways, or a little bit of change here and there, and they can pick like the best parts they want and put it in there. Like I kind of find that works the best. Like instead of trying to do if I'm guesting for someone else, I'll do whatever they tell. I'm like they're singing monkeys when I tell them. Like you tell me what to do, you tell me the words, you tell me the vocal melody, I'm gonna do it. I'll do whatever you say, but I'm gonna give you like 6 good shots. So after singing that song 6 times, it was in my head. It was a heartbreak song. And it was kind of a song where the person, the guy is saying like, basically, I really hope you take me back kind of thing, or I'll be lost without you kind of thing. And I was taking those words over and over and over. And after he left, I was like, that's probably not how I would have written it. So I took a little different pack. And mine is almost like a country, a flip off song. At the end, it's like, don't let the door hit you on the ass is the way the chorus ends. Literally, don't let the door hit you on the ass. So I wrote it, and it's like, you're gone. All right, later, and my wife gave me the name of the title for it. It's called Bye. So I'm working on Bye right now, and it's the anti-heartbreak song. And I've also had to tell everyone it's not about my wife, because when you hear this song, the first thing when I play it for everyone, I'm like, first of all, this is not about Christine. Just gonna let you know before I sing the song to you right here, because I'll sing it and play on the guitar. And but once you hear the lyrics, you're like, man, who was he mad at? But I wasn't really mad at anyone. It was just how I think I would approach a similar situation to the song I had just been singing the day before. So I was still glad I did it, because it gave me the inspiration. I've been looking for inspiration for another song. So, but it almost sounds like one of those a country. I don't know. Yeah, it's almost kind of country. I'm trying to make it more bluesy. I'm putting more guitar and more like Stevie Ray Vaughan-ish kind of guitar into it instead of a country acoustic, because I don't want to write a country song. No offense to the country, but I like that to be at least a little more bluesy. And I have the chance to play guitar. Like most people don't even realize I've been playing guitar for like 40 years almost, and most people just think I sing. So you see all these guitars behind me, and there's another whole wall of them over there. Like that's what I've been doing forever. That's my love is playing guitar. So maybe get a chance to floss a little bit on guitar there, Wilko.
Yeah, I was going to say anyone who's seen any of your stuff, I'm sure will know that you play guitar, because it looks like you live in a music shop sometimes. I'm older than you guys, so this is many years of collecting that has led to this.
So actually, there's a couple things that you just said that I kind of wanted to touch on.
Yeah.
One with the misinformation. Actually, it's kind of a little bit just kind of relating to, not to plug myself, but I'm dropping a project in like a month or so, and we definitely have a song on there. Me and this really good singer I know through a friend of mine, where his verse, he says something like, now I see what you're doing. You feed us misinformation in school, and you do this to poison the youth. And before hearing his verse, I didn't really think about it too much. And after hearing it, I've been thinking about it. And then to hear you guys kind of touch on that, and then just kind of hear more perspectives on it, I'm like, wow, this might be something that I just really, really like need to kind of check more into. And then there's the thing that happened recently, I think in Texas, where they're like changing the curriculum where they don't have to teach about like these specific pieces of Black history, but they're making it to where they can't teach that the KKK was actually a bad organization. And it's like, okay, now it starts talking about it, and then these things just start happening, and you start seeing it, and it's like, wow, this is it's not a conspiracy or a conspiracy theory. This is something that's happening dead in our faces, and we're just forced to sit here and watch it.
It's so much ignorance in the sense that you're afraid of things that you don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand hate. Like, I'm gonna give you an example that I tell this to everyone, and I've explained to my kids about racism. They know that's no. You know what I mean? Like, my best friend is Black, and he's the godfather of my oldest daughter, and they know I grew up with Black friends. I grew up around all races of people, and one of the things I remember, the first thing that I can remember my mom ever telling me, literally the first thing, there's a kid across the street. It was a Black kid. I'm a white kid. And we were playing, and we came into the house, and we asked my mom, I can't remember if it was him or me who asked her. And it was like, I was like, Mom, why is Joe black skin? And why is I have white skin? And my mom's like, he's chocolate milk, you're white milk. You're both milk. I was like, okay. You tell a 3-year-old that 3-year-old is still in here. That 3-year-old has never, I said it to my own kids. You know what I mean? So what you're saying is just ignorance, man. Like, anyone who's been around any of this stuff. When I was growing up, my hometown actually had one of the highest levels of skinheads when I was graduating from high school. I know I'm telling you as a bald white guy here, but we had a huge level, and I could never understand them. Like, you've been in my class your whole life. You know what I mean? Like, we've been in the same classes, and now you're a skinhead. We've had the same Black friends since we were in kindergarten, you know what I mean? Or whatever. Like, I've never been able to wrap my head around it, you know? And it's like you said, it's ignorance, it's superstition, it's being on a team, it's whatever. It's fucking bullshit, man. I'm sorry for the swear words, but it's just the dumbest. And I've been saying that if I ever hear anything like that on NAS, booted for life. Like, not ever. Like, I'll never accept that. There's a reason. Look at our team. Look at our mod team. And that's not on purpose. That's just, I like to put myself around people who are good people. I don't care what you look like or where you're from or whatever, right? And that's why we've got such a good group, man. I'm just like, how are you gonna not teach that? You know, it's just so disappointing to me. It's just soul crushing at times, you know? It's like, I don't understand how that he can even, why? That's why. I asked why. Like, what are you trying to gain? So what's the benefit from it, I guess, is the question. So I don't even know where we went on this, but yeah, superstition, that's another one, you know. Racism is the dumbest superstition ever.
Yeah, and you can see the passion in you when you talk about this subject, which is just a testament to the type of person you are. So to shift a little bit to a more positive subject.
That was some heavy shit.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you got to talk about it, right? So the song you mentioned called "Bye." I actually have a similar song on my project as well, called "Cold," and that one goes through where it's a couple and they kind of fall out of love, and you kind of watch it happen, from just feeling like, oh, something's weird, to going through your girl's phone and finding out that she's actually messing around, and then you decide, oh, I want revenge, so I'm gonna go mess around, and then she finds out that you're cheating on her, you know she's cheating on you, and then at the end everything falls apart, and then it just ends with like I call it like, because the end is where she finds out and she's like, I got pictures of you with this girl, and then right there you just say, well, I know you did this, this, and this, and I saw it in your phone, and then it's like, now we're both heartbroken, and like caused the girl a thought. And I don't, you guys,
I get it. I get it.
Yeah,
It's
so
like it's like two sides go to war and neither one are gonna win. You know what I mean? No one wins. You're both gonna take casualties.
yeah, and just kind of at the end of that song, kind of just like you say, just kind of flipping her off. It's just this is your fault. I'm not saying sorry. I only did this because you did that. And I think those songs where you tell a story and you evoke that emotion in a relationship is just, I don't know. I think every album needs one.
It can relate. Everyone can relate, you know.
Yeah, and if I was just want to jump in on that because just to tie that all together, and because I was thinking about that when Ed was talking about how he has to say about that song. It's, by the way, this is not about my wife. And you know, my wife said to me sometimes, everyone's going to think you're really depressed because some of my songs are quite like depressing. And she's like, oh, you know, everyone will think we aren't happy and stuff like that. And it's like, I feel like the NAS side is that people here can appreciate it for art. So we're looking at it and going, yeah, you know, Origin's telling this story about these two people. That's not Origin and his wife. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if Origin's auntie listens to that song, she might be like, well, is he talking about himself here? Or
right.
Again, it's all about perspective, isn't it? And but I like that. But I like that about NAS, that you can, there's so much different stuff, and because you don't know people personally, you can just take it for what it is. And I agree with Origin. You know, there's definitely always a place for that sort of thing. I love story songs and things like that as well. That was it. There's no question there.
Yeah, no, I think we're talking about that song "Bye." I think it's going to be so different from anything else I put out, but I hope every one of my songs is so different from everything else I put out. You know what I mean? I hope I'm always inspired to do something a little bit different. I'm not purposely trying to defy genre, but I am just trying to do what inspires me, you know, and for whatever reason that inspired me. I would love to write a love song for my wife. I would love to. I'm just not, that just doesn't come naturally. That's not the kind of stuff that inspires me to write. There's so many people who can write better love songs than me, you know, and maybe I'll find I want to do an R&B song. I've been talking to Tanya since she started. This song, the chord progression for this song "Bye" was actually an R&B song 6 months ago, but I just couldn't get the right lyrics. I couldn't get the lyrics that I wanted to do. And it became a flip off song instead. So that's just the way it landed. I'm just going to keep trying to do that. I feel like if I put myself in a box, I can write a heavy metal riff in 5 seconds, and I can put some songs. And I'm not saying that heavy metal is an easy song that easy to do. And I'm not disrespecting metal. We got so many, I'm wearing an Ozzy Osbourne shirt, you know, I'm just saying naturally it comes to me that I can write a heavy metal riff. I've been writing them since 1984. So yeah, but that's not what's in, I don't know. I feel like I want to do other things besides that as well, you know, and this country kind of sounding song is what kind of hit me this time.
Well, next thing you need to do then is a rap track, and me and Origin will provide a verse each. Yeah. And we'll upstage you.
I can only do the hook, maybe. I'll do the hook. That's about it.
Yeah, do that.
Rap and rock era. I feel like this has all been very, very, I don't know. This is 3 guys just talking and kicking it, really. And like, I just enjoyed this conversation genuinely. And actually, this is our first time meeting in person. So, you know, just a pleasure to actually meet you and get to sit back and talk to you and pick your mind a little bit. And so obviously with that, I've seen through NAS everything that you've done. I follow you everywhere. But for anybody who's watching, let them know where they can find you, where you're at, where you're available.
Superstition drops this Friday. So tomorrow, if you're watching this on Thursday, the day that the show debuts, on all the streaming services. Also, the video will be ready. I talked to Jimmy yesterday. The video will be ready on Friday. It'll be on our NAS YouTube playlist. And if you are on NAS and you have a video and you don't have it on our playlist yet, I highly recommend you do that, because these 2 gentlemen right here have very cool videos actually on our playlist. I was watching it last night when I was doing a little bit of a research for the video show that I was doing. It's going to be coming on. So here I go on a tangent again. So to answer your question, sorry, I am on all the social medias, Ed Eagle Music on Instagram and Facebook, and at Ed Eagle 89 on Twitter. I have something on TikTok. I have no idea what it is. Maybe I'll ask my kids later. I've been trying to get them. They're good dancers. I'm trying to get them to like put one of my songs in the background so I can blow up. but it hasn't happened yet. And NAS, I'm all over NAS. I love NAS. I'm all about NAS. Let's do it. Let's grow. Let's get bigger. Let's put some people on some labels. Let's get some hits. We got some talent. Let's do it. Power in numbers, people.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do it. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Yeah, I echo Origin's words. It's been great to meet you in real life. Long time admirer of everything you do. So, and thanks for everything you do as well. Same goes for all the other moderating team and everybody who's contributing in any way. Thanks to everyone for listening to this. Hope you've enjoyed it. We certainly have. And we'll see you all next time.
Yeah, peace out.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, everyone.